these were those 5 plan elements, as I mentioned, with their goal statement attached to it. We talked about land use, housing and economy, mobility and infrastructure, the overall community identity, and the focus area. So that following page on page 53 highlights what those elements are and their overall goal statements. Now I'm going to pause for a moment to talk more specifically about the future land use map. At the end of the day, this is really part of that heart of what a comprehensive plan does. Again, the future land use map is a statement of intention, right? This is what we foresee this the various land within the community being in the future, right? And in this document, we break down what each of these mean in terms of the residential, in terms of any kind of commercial, industrial, or open space development. Now, there's varying meanings in that in terms of where housing can and cannot go, where we want to see commercial, where you want to see industrial. This will ultimately start to influence updates to your zoning code in the future, right? This is kind of the starting point for that. Again, as I mentioned before, this isn't a zoning ordinance, so this isn't set into law, but it helps influence those zoning changes in the future using the zoning code and this future land use map together in unison. Now, as I mentioned before, those plan elements and those objectives, right? So following up in that plan framework, you can see how we organize each of those 5 plan elements with their goal statement and then each objective item underneath that, collective together to help guide in future decision making. Then the focus areas. The focus areas for us is something that our group, our firm likes to do that's a little bit different than your traditional comprehensive plan. Typically, you stay at the kind of goal objective phase with those action items and then an overall future land use map. But what we like to do at OHM is kind of take that next step a little bit with some key areas that we identified through the public engagement process. Now, the examples that we started to build within these focus areas are not meant to kind of be more than just concept items that we talked about, ideas to just further the conversation along. They're not intended to be proposed developments, right, of, oh, it should look exactly like this. It's a highlight of the overall principles that we heard. And again, highlighting the fact that these are areas that the city and the individuals are most interested in. This may be a little bit hard to see just on this screen, but we had 3 kind of key areas, right? The downtown, we heard a lot from the public about this desire to have a downtown. We talk about the South Cleveland-Massillon Road corridor, essentially connecting within that downtown, going all the way up to Interstate 76. And then we talked a lot about kind of the 2 industrial zoned areas within the city. So those were our focus areas where we started to talk a little bit more in detail in terms of action steps, objectives that could be achieved there going forward in the future. Then the last area that I wanted to talk about was the overall implementation strategy. Again, this is getting at really the heart of how to move this plan going forward, how to guide decision-making in the future. And this is how it's set up. I'm going to move forward just a little bit. So you see this with each one of these plan elements. I'm showing here, for example, land use. It has its goal statement just underneath it. And then you see the objectives. And then underneath the objectives, the action items, right? These are those strategies of how to move forward. Now, the element that we add to this to help put a little bit more emphasis on it is a proposed time frame and then a proposed project partners, who ultimately is responsible for pushing these action items forward. Now, I'll go back just to explain the time frames and the potential partners a little bit further. The time frames that we put together are objective between our team and the steering committee, right? We put it as short term being 1 to 3, midterm being 4 to 7, long term being 7+. And then we've also identified that there are some action items that are ongoing, right? You can't put an exact time frame on when you're going to start it and when you're ultimately going to finish it. So we worked together with the steering committee to kind of define those. And then we also worked with them to list out potential project partners. This is not intended necessarily to be the exhausted list. We realize that there could be some new partners that pop up throughout this process or throughout the implementation process once this starts to move forward. But we wanted to start putting some responsibilities on these action items so we can see progress moving forward. So that's what you see here. You see the action items listed. You see the time frame in which it's suggested that that action item should be moved on, and then the potential project partners. Just as an example, as I mentioned before with the future land use map, that is a guide to eventually update zoning, and that's what action item 1.1 is under objective 1. It's updating the city zoning code to start to align with the future land use map and the descriptions and the regulations that we outline for each one of those districts, right? Obviously, that's something that we recommend doing in a relatively short time frame, with the partners being the Norton leadership, which is council and city staff, your planning commission, and your zoning board. So that's an example of how each one of those starts to move forward. Next steps in closing, once this becomes adopted by council, this becomes that guide again for council, for city staff, your boards, your commissions, and your stakeholders on how to move forward. I've shared with city staff members some of the examples of some of the other comprehensive plans that our team has worked on previously. Oftentimes they'll have an ad hoc sort of steering committee, members who were part of the planning process previously, who check in on the progress with city staff quarterly, biannually, annually. I think that rhythm really needs to be set based on the direction of the city and how often you want to check in with those goals. But some of the example cities that we've done that in, and the committees are still meeting either on a quarterly, biannually, or annual basis. City of Oberlin has been doing that after we finished their comprehensive plan, where they've been meeting quarterly just to check in, look at what are the next action items that they can move on, how they can help move things along with a group of city council members, stakeholders, and city staff members. City of Hudson, where we've worked in, has also done that, as well as the city of Worcester. They have met, in some regular fashion every so often to review the recommendations, review that implementation page. If I can go back to it, this page right here. Check in on the progress of some of those items. See if there's anything that needs to be slightly updated or tweaked, right? Again, we're kind of trying to snap this language within a specific time frame, realizing that there's some things, funding, resources, other elements, new stakeholders, new project partners that can pop up once this gets adopted that can come into play here. And with that, both Greta and myself will take any of your questions. I missed your 7-minute mark, but hopefully I was.
It was 19, but not that I was counting. No, you're good. Council, any questions? I think you nailed it. I think you laid it out really good. The presentation that we received, all of council was written out very well. I think you did a good job.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to rolling it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If there
those
are
would be
any
the next steps.
Yeah, and if there are any questions after this meeting, if you take a look at it more, obviously city staff have our contact information. You can reach out to us directly. Happy to address anything, clarify anything that needs to be clarified, so that way we can move it forward.
Great. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a 2-minute break so they can clean their stuff up and we can get the
Mr.
computers
President.
and stuff reset.
Mr. Mauer.
Oh, Mr. Mowry, go ahead.
I mean, really, a generic question. You have so much information coming at everyone. I just wonder, for the general public, if they really understood a lot of it, any of it. Did it go over your heads? That's, I mean, I'd like to get more basic.
You want it?
Like, what the people really want to know is like the mine. Do you have any intention of doing anything with the mine at all?
What's he talking about?
Mining as an industrial activity?
Yeah.
That's not.
That wasn't a huge focus point in the plan. We focus more on industry within Norton, manufacturing, jobs, employment, those type of statistics and numbers, so we can inform like population projections and housing analysis, so we can kind of assess what new housing might be needed, what renovation programs or housing stability programs might be needed, those types of things. Not necessarily specific industrial activity. That could be analyzed like in a more in-depth analysis, but we were looking at more broad level perspectives.
Like in your other project, obviously you've done these same projects before. What's been any of the major problems that you've had that roadblocked you at all, that you've had to go through? Like we might get in the near future, we don't see it coming, but is there any problems that you've had in the past with other these projects?
Yeah, sometimes it's grant funding and budgeting, right? There are things that start to shift in terms of overall priority if something else comes up within the city in terms of infrastructure or development, right? So there may be a thought that there's grant funding available for a particular project or area, and then that no longer becomes available, or perhaps you apply for it, but you're not successful in it, so it kind of delays certain projects along the way. More often than not, Councilman, that's probably the primary problem that or issue that cities will run into, is just the priority and funding aspect of it. So that's why, in terms of the overall structure of the implementation chart that we're showing, there are some things that are straightforward in nature or can be done within a typical city budget, capital budget overall, that doesn't require some type of outside funding. There's others that do. So we try to create a nice mixture of that in terms of the recommendations, so that way there's progress to be had. There are certain things that, you know, a city can only do, especially when it comes to private development, right? You can do certain things in terms of making sure it's zoned the proper way or zoned the way you want it to be, you want it to look in the future. So, you know, your question of minding if you do or don't want it, you know, you make sure that the elements in terms of your zoning are there to either allow it or disallow it if that's not something that you want to see happen. There could be other pieces of infrastructure in terms of roadway or just other types of infrastructure you could get prepared to allow certain things to happen in areas, because there's only so far that a city municipality can take certain things, right? It's going to take partners in the development community, in the nonprofit community, to come together and work towards maybe a specific thing that's outlined there. You know, one of the topics that was brought up during the process was, you know, the schools, in terms of what they're going to be doing with their buildings, where they want to go, how they want to, you know, function going forward. And as we were going through this process, they were just starting, or excuse me, as we were finishing up this process, they were just getting started on their own evaluation of their some of their existing buildings, what they need, square footage, things of that nature. So it allowed us to have some early conversations with them to talk about where there could be opportunities, either on existing properties or maybe properties that they don't own, but the city owns or a nonprofit owns, that they can start to look at in the future if they decide, oh, we need a bigger footprint, or you know what, we need a smaller footprint, right? They're not starting from zero. They're starting from you know, a couple steps ahead, where they can look at some of those properties that we discuss, and it's kind of opened up the conversation then, at least with the school and the city officials. And I think the same is said too with some of our other stakeholders who are interested, existing business owners that may be expanding or enlarging their footprint. This kind of opened up some conversation for them to think through where there's some opportunity, where the city might be looking to further invest or concentrate some of their efforts. So it's allowed some of those conversations and pieces to get started. And that overall structure is just meant to capture all of that to help guide those future discussions as it gets more into the nuance, as Greta was mentioning.
A lot of questions that people ask me. One thing, pretty basic. I mean, why is your company, what focused on Norton? What brought you here to entice you?
We brought
you. All this?
Yeah, we
Here,
can.
here.
Bill,
we can
this is
help.
the comprehensive plan. This has nothing to do with the mine, just so you know.
Okay.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
Heard.
Yeah.
People want me to bring it forward.
Yeah.
No.
Dan, a second.
Yeah.
I'll say it real quick. So this is an update to our land use plan for the city, and where we want to focus on priority areas for development, where we think zoning should go for the future. So it's just laying out, we do it every 15, 20 years. It's encouraged that you update it every so often. So OHM has come in and done that update at our request.
Right.
So that's why they're here today. That's really the goal, is to look, if you want to do just a simple look at what the city's priorities are, you can look at that land use map, right? And that would give you a goal idea of where we think things will be in the future. They provide a lot more detail to back up to get there. They provide an implementation plan to make sure that, you know, your vision happens. But really, that map is the simplest thing you could do to look at and get an idea of what we're thinking.
And-
I appreciate what you said, but
Yeah.
as long as I've been on council, I just don't want the ball to start rolling, the snowball, and everyone to, whoa, wait a minute. I just want to go really nice and slow through this project. I want the residents to know what's going on, time frame, and everything. I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this will have to get adopted by council,
Yep.
right? So we'll have a lot of discussions about it.
Great.
And we can put it out on the website,
Well,
right?
and that's what I just asked. I said,
Oh.
it's not out there yet, but I think
Yeah.
we're gonna probably wait till the adoption. I
Yeah.
don't wanna put it out, we don't wanna put it
Sure.
out there too soon.
Yeah.
But that's,
Yeah. So
once it gets adopted, and then at that point, we work through it.
right. It'll be out there for the sake of transparency.
Yes.
Then the public
Yes,
will have
I'm
it,
not-
and you
yeah.
can print out a copy or look at a digital copy, and
Yeah, we'll
it'll
have
be
it on
out
the
there for
city
everyone.
website.
Yep.
Mr. Lowry, would it be fair to say the zoning is like the next piece to this?
Yes.
Going from the 16 or 18?
So to
That would
follow up
be-
a little bit on what Mr. Markey said, comprehensive plans are typically designed to last 10 years, but because they're so expensive, they always go 20. I think ours is 19 years old now. And then, so you always do the comprehensive plan first, and then you piggyback on that with your zoning code update. And our zoning code is probably every bit of 30 years old.
Old.
I mean, it's,
But it's a tool that
Yeah.
the planning commission and our boards and commissions use in some of the decision-making that gets done.
and it's,
Right.
it's also a tool that gets used by people outside the city as much as inside. Site locators, organizations like Team Neo, economic development, commercial realtors, as well as residential realtors.
Right.
You know, if a residential realtor is doing their job for their customer, their buyer, they would look at our comprehensive plan. So you know what you're buying and what you're up against and what the projected use of that land is in the future. In this update, we did not change, we made no recommendations as a city. This all came from the steering committee and those that filled out surveys. But we did not indicate that we thought we should rezone any industrial land, for instance. If it was industrial, if it's industrial today, it was earmarked to remain industrial. So that's pretty much it. It's a guide. It's a guide. Mr. Brayman will use it every day.
Yep.
A developer will call him and will say, we're looking to do this here. He will say, this is what the comprehensive plan says.
Yep.
And then they can evaluate that and choose to make application or not.
And if I may, Dennis, too, I mean, it does not circumnavigate then those types of development still coming before your BZAs, your planning commissions, you all as council going before public, right? That's another thing. It does not, it doesn't circumnavigate that, nope, now you don't have to do any public engagement or go before your
Yep.
boards. It still does.
Right.
It's, as Dennis pointed out, it's just a statement of intention early on. So that way anyone who's interested kind of knows where the headspace is, where
Yeah.
the direction wants to be. But it doesn't circumnavigate
Yep.
those, right?
It's
And-
just a map. It lays
Correct.
it out.
Correct.
Gives
And-
us direction.
Yeah, and ideally, I mean, the future land use map, when you start to look at your zoning, hopefully at the end of the day, we've matched that pretty well in terms of what the intentions the intentions are, I should say, and then that the zoning map will look pretty close to that. But when you go through that actual zoning process, zoning update process, there's a lot more nuances involved with it. There's obviously all the regulations in terms of setbacks, density, things of that nature that you have to take under greater consideration on how to move forward with it.
Well, again, thanks. We appreciate it. All your hard work in this, and I think it'll be a very valuable tool for the city as we move forward.
No, thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank
Have a
you.
good rest of your night.
We'll take if anybody needs a restroom break, we'll take a 2-minute break if anybody's got to go. Then we'll start back up here in a minute. I got a cup full.
Once we show you everything. We'll see.
Or you.
Thank you.
They gave me another one, right over those.
Did you spend? Did you email? When did it, okay, so
A
then,
month ago. Oh, my doctor,
Whatever, I mean, I think
I'll send it to the president for
Because you got
approval
acne,
and read it at the next meeting.
plumbing,
because I didn't receive it in time.
Doug's got to approve that. I'm telling you.
Believe me, I know.
She did back there.
Yeah.
I knew 7 minutes was a pipe dream, but at least you laid the expectations.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think so. I agree. Yeah, on paper.
Yeah,
I think the other one, like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
we actually have,
yeah.
last time it was like a whip, right? We're like, oh, this time there's at least a few.
It's amazing what $1,000
Well, from that, I mean, it was like 86
Yeah.
last time. And then we upped it to like 90, so,
Yeah.
so that's like $20,000
Oh, yeah.
overall.
No.
Me? What'd I do?
That was nice. Many.
Oh, she does?
But
But, and I talked to Jim, and he said, well, basically the comprehensive plan meeting, when we talk about that might be a good
Well, I
place
know
to
that
kind of
you got,
start.
you're 71 years old, you're in great shape,
She
don't
went to
smoke, don't
college, so
drink.
then she talked
He
to
said,
the
but you just
professor and
wore
got
out.
permission to,
53 years
come back
accident,
and do the paperwork.
49 years plumber,
But she
you can't do
needed,
it.
it needed to be at a
So I got, you
governmental
told me,
meeting.
you're taking the rest of the week off, I'm right,
And I
you doesn't
told her,
approve,
I
we'll
think
take
tonight
the,
might be a good meeting to
so go home and do
at
nothing.
least get started, draw some interest. I don't know exactly what community, because I know the girl she's with is in North County, and so, but it's about,
Yeah.
they both in college,
Yeah,
they came together.
that's fine.
You know, we're meeting with
Thank you, sir.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
got,
but she's,
No, but
yeah,
that's,
yeah, but she's, I mean, and like I said, I don't know what day she's in school, I don't know, and then she works at the store, but then she goes to college. So she said, well, then she was asking me about it, and I said, well, that might, you know, that would be a good meeting to kind of come to it, so. I told her she can go back on and review this, and I told her, I said, I think I could probably get you a copy.
All right, we're gonna get restarted here.
It's not official. We need to work on.
All right, we're gonna get started back here. Continuation of communications from the public. We have a letter that the clerk is gonna read from Miss Michelle Yasko.
This was received on Wednesday, September 24th at 7:34 PM. Dear Norton City Council members, I am writing to express my concern about the proposed data center at 3700 Limestone Drive. I do not believe the City Planning Committee's direction aligns with the wishes of many residents, myself included. I chose to live in Norton because of its character, peace, and sense of community, not to live beside a large-scale industrial facility. Norton is different, and that difference must be preserved. This project raises significant risks to our community. Infrastructure. Construction over the 2 to 3 year timeline will cause serious damage to our roads and other infrastructure. Environmental and quality of life. The project threatens our wells, will increase noise level, and risks disrupting the peace and quiet that defines our city. Hazards. The volumes of liquid natural gas needed to run 6 turbines continuously to produce 90 megawatts of power present safety risks that must be addressed. Water usage. Residents deserve clarity on the facility's water demand and its impact on local resources. Equally concerning is the lack of communication with residents. Very few people know the details, and the burden of sharing information has fallen on citizens going door to door, creating Facebook pages, setting up booths at community events. That is how residents should learn about a project of this. That is not how residents should learn about a project of this scale. I urge City Council to take immediate proactive steps to inform the public and protect residents' interests. Number 1, active communication. Send a mailer, post on the official Norton Facebook page, and use other effective channels to clearly inform residents that a large-scale data center is planned in the heart of Norton. 2, transparency on impacts. Provide data and analysis from comparable data centers, including quality of life impacts, noise, traffic, lighting, environmental considerations, and water usage. 3, hazard disclosure. Share detailed information about the risks associated with liquid natural gas at the volumes required to operate 6 turbines 24/7, including safety protocols and emergency planning. 4, property value protections. Inform residents whether the city will require the company to implement a property assurance program so that if property values decline and homes sell below fair market value due to the data center's presence, affected homeowners are compensated. 5, active representation. Stand up for residents by ensuring this project does not erode our community's well-being and way of life. The citizens of Norton deserve both transparency and protection. I hope to see City Council act decisively to represent and safeguard the interests of the people you serve. Thank you for your attention to this urgent matter. Sincerely, Michelle Yasko, 3717 Ora Avenue, Norton, Ohio.
Thank you, Carrie. Next, we will have Christian Hall. Mr. Hall, if you'd state your name and address for the record, the microphone, and you have 5 minutes.
Christian Hall, Rock Cut Road, commercial and industrial HVAC commissioning agent, service technician, emergency service technician. I just came up here to talk a bit about HVAC since a lot of people were interested, more or less on what a closed loop is and what it really does. I'm terrible at public speaking, so bear with me. A closed loop system, typically designed to go between 100 and 250 feet deep within the ground. Now, that doesn't directly affect wells, but what it does affect is the temperature of the ground itself if the heat dump intervals aren't far enough apart from each other. So if those intervals get too close, the ground temperature never recovers, and then you have ground temperatures above 100 degrees, and that's when you start boiling off wells. And that's why closed loop isn't directly going to affect wells if you're not using a heat exchanger to an open loop, but it is going to affect wells if they aren't dealing with the amount of heat that they're going to be producing in an adequate way. There is only air to air, air to water, and water to water, and depending on how much power the place is using, their heat load is going to be too large for the ground to be able to absorb it. And if the only thing they're using is closed loop to cool the system, they aren't going to cool the system. Eventually, they will have to stop production because the ground temperature won't be able to recover and they won't be able to do anything about it because that's 100, 250 feet underground. I had something else to say and I forgot, but now that you're well informed, I expect that anybody who has this information written down can listen to it again, but you will be held accountable. You will be held accountable for knowing this information, and that's it.
That's a great question. Just for the record, there's a town hall meeting coming up on October 13th.
Who's talking to me?
Me. It's not that bad, is it?
That's a glare on my head.
I didn't see anybody's mouth move.
No, so there's a town hall meeting coming on October 13th. That's a great question to bring to the developer. Let them answer the question. You can hear it right from the horse's mouth.
Right.
So I appreciate your interest and you sharing what you have.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to Miss Michelle Yasko. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Got to put the cheaters on. Okay, my name is Michelle Yasko. I live at 3717 Orr Avenue in Norton. The letter that was presented to you just now was written before the website came up, so I apologize for that.
That's all right.
All right, I would like to thank council for allowing me to speak this evening. There was a great turnout at the Cider Fest this past weekend. Our booth, Norton Concerned Citizens, without asking a single person, received 319 signatures on an unofficial petition of concern of the proposed data center. Many of the citizens gathered here this evening are here to support us. At past council meetings, we have been quiet, respectful, and civil to this council and the citizens gathered here, only speaking if we are signed in to do so. It is our hope tonight that everyone here continues to remain silent, be courteous, and show the respect everyone in this room deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yasko. We greatly
Thank you.
appreciate that. And next is Mr. Matthew Honest. Please state your name and address for the record, sir, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Oness. I'm an attorney, and I've been asked to speak on behalf of a number of concerned landowners. I can give you the background of my information. I'm with Krukliak, Wilkins, Griffiths, and Doherty, 6715 Tippecanoe Road in Canfield, Ohio. We represent a number of concerned citizens, and they've asked us to get involved to look at it from a land use perspective. And what I can tell you is, as I see it right now, this particular site is zoned under the current zoning regulations as Industrial 2 or I-2. My understanding as I read those provisions is that there would be a special use permit that's required for this type of project, not the data center. The data center itself is one item that probably doesn't need a special use permit. However, under the current zoning regulations, the zoning ordinance here, any gas generation or storage facility requires a special use permit for an I-2. And how I read the application, the site plan, the master site plan that was submitted, was there actually is going to be the construction and operation of a very large natural gas storage and generation facility, a 6-turbine facility as I read it, where they're going to be bringing in natural gas, storing it, and using it to actually generate electricity for on-site. In fact, that's one of the key parts of their entire process, is this type of facility. So that requires a special use permit. Now, when I looked through prior agendas and minutes and whatnot, I couldn't locate that, so I don't think one's been filed. But this is under Ordinance 1282.03, Special Industrial Use Permits. And what it requires under the current ordinance is that Planning Commission must recommend that City Council look at this application and consider it. The problem is there are a number of things that have to be done before that special use permit can go into effect. And as I see it right now, I don't believe this could be permitted as I see it. The biggest issue I see is that this type of industrial use must be compatible with adjacent land uses. And as I look at the overlying GIS map from the Summit County Auditor site, there are a number of adjacent properties that are residential. So you've got residential that are going to be next to what is a 6-turbine natural gas storage and generation facility. I don't believe that those can be considered to be compatible such that the special use permit should even be given in the first instance. The other issue too is, even if we could look past that, the City Council has to consider that application for a permit only after, 1, Planning Commission recommends it, and then 2, there's a demonstration of no hazardous, noxious, or offensive emissions, odors, noise, or water or air pollution will result from the operations. So you have that in terms of when you can consider it. And even if you could get there to consider it, I go back to this idea of this type of industrial use, because it's under the special use ordinance, which makes complete sense because of this type of facility with the gas generation and storage, is not compatible with those residential uses that directly abut this property. And so I was asked to look at it from that perspective of whether or not, as council, maybe you're getting out, we're getting too far out. That we're looking at from the data center perspective, which is fine, and people may have their objections, and that's fine. But that natural gas component of this project needs that special use permit under current existing City of Norton regulations and laws. And so the purpose here today is to kind of bring that to council's attention, that I think that process has to kind of slow down and go through that process before you even consider whether or not the data center itself should go forward. So that's what I have. If I have any questions, happy to answer them. I'll be here as well afterwards if anybody has any questions. But I do thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Moving on to committee work session. I acknowledge the receipt of the September 2025 financial reports. And moving on to personnel and rules, Mr. Lukens.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So tonight before us, we have ordinance number 90-2025. This is to hold virtual meetings for the Civil Service Commission. Does someone from administration want to maybe give a brief description of this? I was just kind of curious, just in plain terms, why it's necessary or why we need this.
Mr. Lukens, typically, excuse me, civil service meetings are very, very brief, less than 10 minutes. They're typically one agenda item meetings. It just made sense to allow the flexibility to do this, and that's the request.
Yeah, and they are typically during the day, and all those are volunteer positions that have full-time jobs outside of the city volunteer opportunities, so it would help them be able to meet more effectively.
Well, right, they meet at 3 o'clock. One of them does have a full-time job, but could be able to jump on via Zoom. It just makes it easier to make sure that we always have a quorum, things like that.
Okay. Did anybody else have any other questions or concerns with this? I'd like to make a motion to add ordinance number 90-2025 to tonight's agenda for a first reading, please.
I second.
There's a motion and a second to move to add ordinance 90-2025 to tonight's agenda for first reading. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Lukens?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Harbert?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to planning and economic development. Those are mine. Item number 1 is a TIF incentive district for Brookside Greens. This is an ordinance creating a tax incentive financing district in Brookside Greens. This is the new addition.
The new addition,
Yeah,
correct.
this is the new addition to Brookside Greens. What was that, like 10 acres, 12 acres or something? They put more houses in.
We have a representative, Mr. Goldberg is from Addison Properties here, if you want to ask him questions about it.
Come on up.
Instead of me guessing.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
How you doing?
Good. How are you this evening?
Doing well.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Matt Goldberg, 55 Farwood Drive.
If you want to just kind of explain what this is to the public.
So when we originally started the development, it was 310 single-family homes. We came across the opportunity to pick up some adjacent land. So the development's going great. So we're going to pick up the land and add 19 more homes to make the total 329.
Gotcha. How many acres was that?
It's about 6 acres.
6 acres. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So
And I'll just mention that the split of revenues between the developer and the city follows our original development agreement.
Yep.
So on the back end, the city takes those revenues for the final 10 years or so.
right.
So it's in good financial interest for the city to
Yep.
get this done as well.
Took the words out of my mouth. You're good.
All right. Thank you.
So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to move to add ordinance 91-2025 to tonight's agenda for a first reading.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to add ordinance 91-2025 to tonight's agenda for a first reading. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. DeHarpart?
Yes.
Mr. Ader?
Yes.
Mr. Lukens?
Yes.
Thank you. And item number 2, that is mine. This is the economic development plan. This itself is the plan to adopt the legislation for the TIF in that development. So if there's no questions on that, I would move to add ordinance 92-2025 to tonight's agenda for first reading.
I'll second.
Who's the second? Lukens got you. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul.
There's a motion and a second on ordinance number 92-2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. DeHarpart?
Yes.
Mr. Lukens?
Yes.
Mr. Ader?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to safety, Mr. Ader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just got two little ones here tonight. First is ordinance 93-2025, just an updated agreement with the animal control for the city. Anybody have any questions on that one? Nope. I'd like to move to add ordinance number 93-2025 to tonight's agenda for a first reading.
I will second.
There's a motion and a second to add ordinance number 93-2025 to tonight's agenda for a first reading. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Ader?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. DeHarpart?
Yes. Item 2?
Yep, and the next one is just ordinance 94-2025, and this is also just an update to public records policy. Anybody have any questions on that one?
I'll just mention, Mr. Eater, that the updates here, the Attorney General's office puts out a model public records policy, and we have not updated ours for 20-plus years, like a lot of things. It seems like we sometimes go 20-plus years before we update. So this is just putting Norton in compliance with that model records policy. And then the one thing we added is last year the General Assembly made it so you could, the police department could charge for the cost of redacting body cam videos. And it's not meant to cover, Norton residents or anyone who's involved in the incident. They can still get those body cameras. It's for the YouTube and Instagram sites that were posting body cam footage and inundating city police departments with body cam requests. So that the ability now to charge people for the actual cost of doing that redaction is put in there. And that's a new thing for the city.
And that's statewide, correct?
It's a statewide law,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is the city, are we thinking at all about starting to digitize records at some point, or is that even anything that would? I was with the police chief, and he showed me the room that had, file cabinets from years past. I don't think we'd go back, but I would think going forward, maybe, might be something to think about.
To Mr. Markey's previous comments, we have a lot of catching up to do in Norton. And,
Gotcha.
and we just, budget's tight, and safety and potholes and other things
Well,
take
and
precedence.
staffing, because we've looked at this a number of times over the years.
Right.
So they're actually having a dedicated staff member who can scan, digitize, organize, file it correctly, make sure that other records are being disposed of. You can bring in, like a Blue Technologies, you can bring in like an outside vendor to do it, but it's very expensive. Having a dedicated employee who has enough free time during the day to actually do that is difficult. So that's
Then we
been a
hire,
challenge.
we
over time.
hire somebody, and then next thing you know, we've given them 5 other
Other
different
jobs.
jobs,
And then they're
and
doing a new job, basically a different job.
a different job.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Markey.
I'd like to add ordinance number 94, 2025 to tonight's agenda for a first reading.
And I will second.
There's a motion and a second to add ordinance 94, 2025 to tonight's agenda for first reading. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Ader?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. DeHarper?
Yes. And moving on to utilities, Mr. Mowry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight I have 4 different ordinances I'd like to add to tonight's agenda. First one is comprehensive stormwater management. I want to ask the administration, does the Army Corps of Engineers have anything to do with any of these ordinances?
Yeah, so I was going to mention, Mr. Mowry, all 4 of these ordinances that you have tonight, the city engineer has asked us to make these updates is to bring us into compliance with state and federal regulations, Ohio EPA, Army Corps of Engineers, all of that. Our stormwater ordinances, like several other items we talked about tonight, were woefully out of compliance, so this is getting us up to date with current law on all 4 sections of the codified ordinances.
Bring everything up to current.
Bring everything up to current standards,
Thank you.
correct. Yep.
Public know that. Okay, with that, if there's any other questions, I would like to add ordinance 95, 2025 to tonight's agendas for its first reading.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to add ordinance 95, 2025 to tonight's agenda for first reading. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Mr. Harbert?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Thank you. And number 2, I would like to add ordinance 96, 2025 to tonight's agenda, Crippling and wetland setbacks. Questions from administration or anything about that?
I had a quick comment. I just wanted to say, all 4 of these are pretty lengthy. Like, I think it would probably do us all good if we actually held on to these and just like retained the copies of this, because it's a lot of information. Some of these are like little mini novels, like almost 40 pages. I know we got, like, I went through and skimmed through them all, but I'm gonna have to reread them again, because I mean, there was like about 150 pages just in that section alone, so.
Yeah, and for any questions you guys have, I'm not the expert on these, the engineer is, so if you can get those to us in writing, we can get those answered.
Yeah.
A lot of it's technical and engineer jargon, so it'd be good,
It's definitely important. It's just, it's a lot.
it's a lot,
Yep.
yeah.
With that, I'd like to add ordinance 96, 2025 for its first reading tonight.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to add ordinance 96, 2025 to tonight's agenda for first reading. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Mr. Harbert?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Item number 3, ordinance 97, 2025, erosion and sediment control. Any other questions from administration or other council? With that, I move to add ordinance 97, 2025 to tonight's agenda for its first reading.
Second?
There's a motion and a second to add ordinance 97, 2025 to tonight's agenda for first reading. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Mr. Harbert?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Thank you. Last but not least, ordinance 98, 2025, illicit discharge and illegal connection control. I think this is pretty important. Any questions from anyone, administration, of the council? With that, I move to add ordinance 98, 2025 for tonight's first reading.
Second?
There's a motion and a second to add ordinance 98, 2025 to tonight's agenda for first reading. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Mr. Harbert?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to matters referred. Do we have anything on matters referred? At page 145.
Don't look like it.
I think we're good, yeah.
I think we're good.
Moving on to consideration of minutes. The regular city council minutes of September 15th, 2025, those are approved as submitted. And we will move on now to reports from officers, boards, and commissions. Mayor Zita.
Thank you. I do have a couple things this evening. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone that participated, came out, helped out, worked with, and worked for the Cider Festival Committee over the weekend. Weather was absolutely fantastic. I know that people may or may not know there's about 10 people, 12 people that actually serve on the Norton Cider Festival, and they've been on there for several of them have been on since it started about 38 years ago, with the exception of the year of COVID. So this was the 37th year. But just want to thank everyone that participated and made that a success over the weekend. But like I said, I want to thank the festival committee itself, the street department, for making sure that trash and stuff was they were on it, did the best they could, and took care of that as well. Fire safety personnel were out there as well, and that ensured everyone had a good time. So just want to thank everyone for participating in that this weekend. One of the things I want to bring up, though, I know it was brought up earlier this evening about trying to get information out to the residents. I know we worked over the weekend, Emma, my administrative assistant, and myself worked on collecting email addresses. About 6 months, first of the year or so, we started on trying to put a quarterly newsletter together to get information out to the public, due to the fact that we really have no longer a Norton newspaper. Trying to get information sometimes through the Barberton Herald. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. But anyway, trying to get information into the hands of the residents, working on doing that. We did send out a mailer. And like I said, I think that was pretty much beginning of the year, but the cost of printing and mailing is pretty astronomical. And then we were getting, I won't say complaints, but we were getting concerns from residents that we were spending unnecessary monies to mail and print this information. So what we're trying to do is save costs, but trying to do it electronically. But in order to do that, we need email addresses. So over the weekend, I was down at the police and fire booth and so forth, and tried to collect, as well as my assistant as well worked on collecting a lot as well. But we have a QR code that you can click on. We also have, and there's a QR code on the table right underneath the Norton sign in the little plastic riser. There is also in the lobby on the way out the door, there's another one just like that mirrors that. There's also a sign-up sheet. If you're interested in a quarterly newsletter, one went out just I think a couple weeks ago, but we're still continually working on. And I know that in the evenings when I mention it at City Council, we usually get a uprise in some of the hits that we get on the site looking for or sending emails to City Hall. So pretty much that's what it's for. It's sending the email to City Hall so that newsletters then will get sent to those websites or those email addresses. So if you want to be part of that, please take a minute and sign up for it. It'll help get information out to you as information comes available. Also, towards the end of September, there was an organization out in Wadsworth. I was invited out there. It's bringing the hope of Christ to those in needs. It's called Faithful Servants Care Center. It's a call to serve. And the reason it involves us, it's Faithful Servants Missions Incorporated, is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free urgent care to the uninsured and working poor. Endorsed by major health systems in Summit and Medina counties, we are supported by community foundations, hospitals, churches, businesses, and individuals. We operate without government funding and rely entirely on volunteers. We welcome churches, organizations, and individuals to partner with us in meeting the physical and spiritual needs of our community. The Wadsworth Clinic, located at 251 Leatherman Road, currently offers evening care on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 to 8:30, with plans to expand to 5 to 7 days a week as volunteer capacity grows. So what they're looking for, it's doctors, and they've got a medical director, it's staffed medical, it's legit. I was out there myself. The Wadsworth mayor was out there. There was a number of people that were out there the night of the ribbon cutting and the opening ceremony. But I was invited out and asked then to bring the information back to us. So if there's people out there, we don't care who you are, but it's more important for you. If you need help, there's help out there. Please reach out to, and again, it's a group of people. It's called Faithful Servants, and check them out. And like I said, they're there to help. So that is all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Zita. Mr. Lowry, anything this evening?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to introduction of new legislation. Ordinance number 90-2025, Mr. Lukens.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to offer ordinance number 90-2025 for its first reading. I ask the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance to amend section 280 of the codified ordinances of the city to add section 280.02 to allow virtual meetings for the Civil Service Commission.
And that was a first reading only tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Lukens. Ordinance number 91-2025, that is mine. I'd like to offer ordinance number 91-2025 for its first reading and ask the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance creating a tax increment financing incentive district, Brookside Greens Incentive District Number 2, pursuant to sections 5709.04, 5704.42, and 5709.43 of the revised code, and declaring an emergency.
And that is first reading only. Ordinance number 92-2025, that one is mine as well. I'd like to offer ordinance number 92-2025 for its first reading and ask the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance adopting an economic development plan for the Brookside Greens Incentive District and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. First reading only. Ordinance number 93-2025, Mr. Ader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to offer ordinance 93-2025 for its first reading and like the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver a renewal of an intergovernmental agreement for animal control services with the county of Summit, Ohio.
That's first reading only.
Thank you. Moving on to 94-2025, Mr. Ader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to offer ordinance 94-2025 for its first reading and like the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance adopting a revised public records policy in compliance with the Ohio Revised Code, section 149.43, and declaring an emergency.
That's first reading only.
Thank you, Mr. Ader. Ordinance number 95-2025, Mr. Mowry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now offer ordinance 95-2025 for its first reading. Have our clerk read it, please.
An ordinance to amend and restate section 1470, comprehensive stormwater management of the codified ordinances of the city and declaring an emergency.
First reading only. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mowry. Again, Mr. Mowry, 96-2025.
Yes, this ordinance 96-2025 for its first reading, and have our clerk read it, please.
An ordinance to amend and restate section 1472 riparian and wetland setbacks of the codified ordinances of the city and declaring an emergency.
Thank you.
That was first reading only. Ordinance number 97, 2025, Mr. Mowry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer ordinance 97, 2025 for its first reading. Have our clerk read it, please.
An ordinance to amend and restate section 1474, erosion and sediment control of the codified ordinances of the city and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. It is first reading only.
Thank you. Ordinance number 98, 2025, Mr. Mowry.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Ordinance 98, 2025, offered to our clerk for its first reading, please.
An ordinance to amend and restate section 1476, illicit discharge and illegal connection control of the codified ordinances of the city and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. That is first reading only.
Thank you, Mr. Mowry. Moving on to introduction of prior legislation. Ordinance number 83, 2025, Mr. Harbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer ordinance number 83, 2025 for its second reading and ask the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance to amend the appropriations for the current expenses of the city of Norton for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, authorizing amendments to the certificate of estimated resources of the city for calendar year 2025 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. That's second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Harbert. Resolution number 84, 2025, Mr. Lukens.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to offer resolution number 84, 2025 for its second reading and have the clerk read it, please.
A resolution confirming the appointment of James Price to fill an unexpired term on the Parks and Cemetery Board in the city and declaring an emergency.
And that's a second reading only tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Lukens. Ordinance number 85, 2025, Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd offer ordinance number 85, 2025 for its second reading and ask the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance revising the capital asset accounting policy for the city of Norton.
And that is the second reading.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Ordinance number 88, 2025, Mr. Ader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to offer ordinance number 88, 2025 for its second reading, and like the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of computer equipment and services for the police department from Talex in an amount not to exceed $21,591.
That's second reading only.
Thank you, Mr. Ader. Ordinance number 89, 2025, Mr. Towsley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to offer ordinance number 89, 2025 for its second reading and ask the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of office furniture for the service department from Ohio Wholesale Business Furniture in an amount not to exceed $21,911.
Thank you. The last time we were together, I believe Mr. Harbert expressed some concerns on this. Have those been answered for you, Mr. Harbert, or do you still have the concerns?
Mr. Hess addressed them with Council President. I believe there were a couple of pieces of the furniture that he felt maybe, but I think we're just going to go ahead with the initial list of furniture.
Yep.
My whole thing is it's a department of, 9 or 10, 11 people, and you're looking at purchasing 34 chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbers just, you're buying 3 or 4 chairs for every person in the department. And so that's what brought up my initial concern on Board of Control when we first started talking about this. I'm probably not going to support it because I think, the whole list of items on there, it just seems like more furniture than what they can use. But he did address it. And
Yep.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody, I'm being asked to waive readings. Does anybody else on council have any reservations before I make a motion to waive readings?
I don't have any reservations on it. I know that the building's ready to go. There's people down there that need to work and they need desks to work at. So, that's the reason that they brought it to us to waive.
Right.
They, when I talked to Mr. Hess, they were going to get rid of, to cut 4 chairs off of it. And I just, to cut 4 chairs off of it and change the ordinance is really not a big deal. So, my opinion is might as well just keep it the way it is because 4 is not going to make or break us.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Are you saying that the purchase of more chairs won't have an effect on the price?
No, we're not purchasing any more. They were willing to cut the total down 4 chairs. So the price of cutting off 4 chairs it's not anything astronomical is what I'm saying. So difference between 4 chairs and 34 chairs isn't much.
If I could add something that
Yeah.
possibly just may be missed, maybe a communication error on our part, and that is in the new building, there are 2 conference rooms. One is a conference room for 8. The other is a conference room for 6. So that's 14 chairs. And then we have a lobby in this building, and that is 2 chairs. So that's 16. So, I mean, the additional chairs are not to be used so much by the employees at break time. It's to be used within the facility for a multitude of reasons.
And there were, correct me if I'm wrong, there were some staff that were going to be moved.
There's
down
two additional people being relocated down there.
there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but at face value, without an explanation, I understand Mr. Harbert's question. It's,
But
It's a lot of chairs.
I know, but then if, you know, in instances like this evening, we're gathering chairs from all other rooms and trying to put them all together so that we've got chairs. So, I mean, they're chairs.
I guess it comes down to, I mean, you've got a conference room with an 8-foot table and 8 chairs. You got a conference room with a 6-foot table and 6 chairs. And then you got some kind of table that's going in the break room or the lunch room that's going to be used for training as well. I mean, it seems like some of the training could happen in the conference room.
it will. It will.
Yeah.
There
it's-
are also, we added 2 additional desks for foremen with their own chair. Up until this point, the foreman had no desk.
And no chair.
And no chair.
Yep.
So, but again, without a detailed explanation, Mr. Harbert has a very valid point.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that, because the service department is pretty much up and running and they need their furniture, and they have requested us to waive the 3rd reading, I will make a motion to waive the 3rd and final reading.
I'll second. There's a motion and a second to waive the 3rd reading on ordinance number 89, 2025. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. DeHarpart?
Yes.
Mr. Lukens?
Yes.
Mr. Ader?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Mr. Harbert?
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 89, 2025.
And I will second. There's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 89, 2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. DeHarpart?
Yes.
Mr. Lukens?
Yes.
Mr. Ader?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Mr. Harbert?
No.
Thank you. Moving on to resolution number 79, 2025. Mr. Harbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer resolution number 79, 2025 for its 3rd reading and ask the clerk to read it, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the revised Summit County Intergovernmental Memorandum of Understanding for job creation and retention and tax revenue sharing and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. That's the 3rd reading. Council have any concerns? It's pretty much a
That's a
regular thing that we do. I'll go ahead and move to adopt resolution 79, 2025.
I'll second. There's a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 79, 2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Harbert?
Yes.
Mr. DeHarpart?
Yes.
Mr. Lukens?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. Ader?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance number 80, 2025. That's Mr. Lukens.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to offer ordinance number 80-2025 for its 3rd reading and ask clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance adopting a salary rate for the position of Assistant Service Director and declaring an emergency.
Okay, if we don't have any questions or concerns over that, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 80-2025.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 80, 2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Lukens?
Yes.
Mr. Harbert?
Yes.
Mr. DeHarpart?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. Ader?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd
Moving
like
on.
to thank council. We will be interviewing for that position next Wednesday.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Lowry. Move on to public service announcements. Mayor Zita, anything this evening?
No, I'm going to pass. Thank you.
Mr. Lowry, anything this evening?
I have 3. I'll be quick. Just for everybody's information, early voting starts tomorrow. You can vote at the Board of Elections that is relocated from Grant Street in downtown Akron to East Talmadge Avenue on North Hill. We have issue 41 on the ballot. It's a fire EMS levy. And for our service levels to remain as they are today, it's imperative that this levy passes. Secondly, the service center is up. We have occupancy. It's our goal to have everybody staffed and ready to go on Monday, October 20th. So that was crucial for the furniture tonight. Anybody in the audience that wants to see how the building turned out, that's over there by the table. It was a $4 million project. We came in on time and squeaky under budget, but it's a great value. It's a great value, and it's going to add tremendous life to our most expensive equipment assets.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to be inside now.
Yeah. I'll add to that real quick. Just a big thanks to Mr. Hess.
Oh.
Yes.
For
There you
sticking
go.
around after retired and overseeing the project. And I know he's been a huge help to you guys
Yep,
and
yep.
very good at communicating with council, and he's done a great job for us for many, many years.
He's been tremendous on this project.
Yep.
And then lastly, there will be, and this is not a city-sponsored event, but I just want everyone to be aware, there will be a Charlie Kirk Memorial on Tuesday, October 14th at 7 p.m. in Columbia Woods.
Awesome.
Mr. President.
That's all I have.
Mr. Childesley?
I do have one as well. I know the president mentioned it earlier. After we got some of our FAQ answers given to us, I requested from Quantum HPC if they would work with me and do a town hall meeting, and they have agreed for next Monday, October 13th, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I wanted to just mention quickly, there seems to be a lot of confusion about the bottom corner of this, if you've seen it. It says to please send questions in advance. I okayed this, so I will fall on the sword. That was my fault. They do want questions in advance so they can ask timely, but that does not mean they won't take other questions. So I just want to make that very clear. It wasn't just exclusively they're only going to answer questions in advance. So please, this is an opportunity for you hopefully to get answers, and it's an opportunity for anybody from the council who is there to hear what you have to say. And it's an opportunity for maybe you to mingle with us where we don't have this separation. So that's pretty much it, and hopefully it will be productive.
Thank you, Mr. Towsley. Moving on to topics for next meeting. Monday, October 20th is our next meeting. Anyone have anything they'd like to add or discuss to that meeting? Nothing? Any non-agenda items this evening?
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have one. I'd like to thank Chief Papp, being part of Norton Soccer for years. The council's approved and the city's put in the AED machines at the park up at Loyal Oak. And Chief Papp came out and gave us a detailed, run through on how to use it, how you call, how it gets open, all the information. Took the equipment out, actually used it, and it was just nice that he came out, took the time for the soccer association. Parents came, kids were there, I was there, so it was nice to have him come out and spend some time with the youth, with the soccer organization. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Harbert.
Mr. President? I
Yes,
got
Mr.
something.
Lukens?
So, yeah, obviously the data center is not on the agenda for this evening. I just wanted to make a request that, given out of respect for as many residents as what we have here this evening, if there could be just kind of a brief summary update to the residents that are here tonight. I know we're going to have the meeting next week, but, just out of respect that we have, I think if we asked how many people were here because they're seeking out information for this data center, it's a lot of you guys, correct? So if and not to start like an endless discussion about this, but just, for the residents' sake that are here that maybe can't make the meeting, or there's a lot of confusion with this right now. Just a brief summary.
Yeah,
I know we've had the planning commission meeting, and that's pretty much been it as far as we know. We've got
This will be very brief, Mr. Lucan. So the FAQ was done early last week. Many thought that it could have been revised, could have been plainer, could have been clearer, could have addressed more issues. And so the applicant listened to that and then addressed that. And the new FAQ went up on the website this morning early, which is available.
And there are copies up there. for everyone
And
to grab.
then Mr. Towsley wanted to have the town hall. So obviously, everyone wanted the town hall to take place before the applicant got back on the planning commission agenda. So the town hall will take place next Monday evening. And then the applicant intends to be on the planning commission agenda for the 28th. And I believe that means they need to apply by the 17th.
That's right.
Something like that. So that's all we know so far.
Great.
Okay.
Will, Mr. President,
Yes.
will this town hall also be available for Zoom or any other type of?
Well,
Mr. Lowry, yeah, let
well, Mr. Towsley, it's Mr. Towsley's town
Yeah.
hall.
Okay.
Not by the city. I mean, if residents are more than welcome to film it, but the city will not be, it's not an official city
Okay, I was
meeting.
thinking about the ones that would love to be there but can't make it or something.
We just don't really
We
have
don't.
the capability from the town hall.
Okay,
Especially where it's going to be held in the community center.
Correct.
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you for the update. Just, being mindful of the amount of residents that we have here.
This is your best friend to know what's going on. I asked for this so we could have it in writing that lays it out. In writing's always the best thing to get. So just know that this came from them and it's in writing. So we'll keep getting more things in writing that you guys come and ask for. Mr. Towsley?
I do have one more thing. I would like to ask Mr. Markey if we have more residents here than we've had in the past, and I understand there was a little confusion at the Cider Fest this weekend about the process, and that the Planning Commission had final word. So if you could just talk the process of what the Planning Commission's role is,
Sure.
and then the council's role.
Plan Commission is going to get an application for a final site plan, and that's going to be approving the layout of the property and the uses on the property, making sure they comply with zoning and all that good stuff. And that's going to be substantially similar to what the preliminary site plan that they've already looked at and voted on. So that's Plan Commission's role. That is not the final say in the project. The final say in the project comes to City Council. We have existing agreements with that company on that land since the year 2000, that in order for them to develop anything other than a 2-point-something gigawatt electric facility, generating facility, they would have to come to council and have those old agreements released and have new agreements put in place, allowing them to build that data center. So ultimately, this is going to come back to City Council for approval or non-approval of what we're calling a cooperative agreement that's being negotiated currently. And only if council approves that would the project go forward. There will also be, along with that, a use restriction agreement that goes on the property that would prevent, some of the things that you're all concerned about, like nuclear waste, right? And it'd give the city the ability that if anything like that were to happen on the property, that the city could step in and go to court and say, enough, you can't do that anymore, clean the property up. So that's the process. Planning Commission, as Mr. Lowry mentioned, would be towards the end of the month. There's an extension in place till December 31st with the property owner. So council would be considering any legislation and agreements before the end of the year, is the intention.
Thank you.
And that extension was approved by city council
And
as well.
City Council approved that extension before recess this year.
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. I will make a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, folks, for coming.